Pelosi versus MNUCHIN, one of the most important broadcasts you're going to see on this channel today, as a deal between the Temple of Doom and the White House, or the Temple of Numbers, is imminent. No, it's better than imminent. It's very close at hand. They're all saying that there's going to be a deal on your second stimulus package within 48 hours. The question is, what deal? How much money? Multiple stimulus checks? How big are the stimulus checks? When would we receive them? What have you done with FPUC? What have you done with hazard pay? How much are you giving for dependents? How much are you giving for people on SSDI? How much are you giving for seniors? How much are you giving for veterans? It's days like this that you wonder if Congress thinks we're a bunch of fools, because ultimately they're very excited to announce something in 48 hours, but we're sitting back wondering, well, what is this thing that I'm going to read in 48 hours? Is it something I really don't like? And while this recording is called Pelosi versus MNUCHIN, it may ultimately be called Pelosi MNUCHIN versus the Purple Power. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons LALATE with a big bombshell, one of the most important videos you're going to watch today, Pelosi versus MNUCHIN, because it's starting to potentially turn into Pelosi and MNUCHIN versus Purple Power, as millions of Americans wait with bated breath to see numbers that we have not been told on a stimulus package that they say is going to be done and be agreed upon within 48 hours, with deal terms we have not been briefed upon, and provisions and sections we don't even know if they exist anymore. It's just like, what is this? I'm so excited about this thing, I don't know what it is. But the one thing you do know is we're approaching 300,000 subscribers. Go to the front of this channel, subscribe, because boy, what a day it is. I guess we will reach 300,000 subscribers today. 5 months, what an achievement for this family. No one in the history of YouTube has ever done it. It's breaking every record. 2 million subscribers, 2 million views a day, just hundreds of thousands of views all throughout the day. You know, #1 channel for everything, for watch time, for hours, and just absolutely incredible. I'm so blessed, and I really just thank you from the deep bottom of my heart. Also, like this video. In this video, I will be going over really what is going on with Pelosi and MNUCHIN. In the earlier videos on Afternoons LALATE, I went over more about procedurally what's going on. In this video, I'll be going over numbers, really, really hard numbers. So let's get to it. The breaking news is that all the parties involved with the negotiations, which is now more than 2 people, thank God, is saying that a deal will be announced within about 48 hours. This is a deal. This is not a law, and this is not something that sends out a check. It's a deal. Ultimately, the ability to get a deal is covered in the video right before this, McConnell versus Trump, which should be called McConnell versus the world. This video is aptly should be renamed as Pelosi and MNUCHIN versus, Purple Power, because we're very worried that these deal terms will not be deal terms we like. Let me go over them. First, stimulus check, 1 or multiple. Don't know. Problem Solver said multiple. Steve MNUCHIN said 1. Nancy said 1. Okay. Is it the same stimulus check we've been hearing all along? Mark Meadows 24 hours ago said it would be a bigger amount, the stimulus check, than slightly before. Okay, well, how much bigger? He did not say slightly. He said it would be a bigger amount for stimulus check than originally designed. Okay, so a more robust, a larger stimulus check, 1 stimulus check can be bigger. How much bigger, and when did it become bigger? When it became bigger, sort of, I hope he's not playing games with words, which I don't think he is. Steve MNUCHIN raised his stimulus check amount several weeks ago. Well, about a week and a half ago. And so I hope Mark Meadows is not referring to something past tense. He's referring to something that happened in the last 24 hours. What I'm referring to is this. Steve MNUCHIN initially entered the stimulus negotiations after the Problem Solvers bill with a check amount that was about where Nancy Pelosi was at. Then Mark Meadows raised the stimulus check amount higher, making it his check amount larger than the Democrats. But Mark Meadows seems to suggest the number is now even higher than that amount. Needless to say, it doesn't cost a lot more money to send out a bigger stimulus check. So how much bigger is it? Well, Nancy Pelosi, as a week ago, wanted to give you a stimulus check for children at $500, for adult dependents $500, and for adults 12 non-dependents $1,200 to cover you for the last 6 weeks of this pandemic. Unacceptable. It doesn't cut it. We reject it. Purple Power rejects it. We don't accept that. Next, Steve Mnuchin, about a week ago, raised his deal offer to $1,000 per child, $1,200 for all adults, whether you're a senior, Social Security, veteran, SSDI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, or just a single individual. $1,200, one check for 6 months. That doesn't cut it. Purple Power rejects that as well. Now, ultimately, there is a qualifier to this, and here is my opinion. There's a qualifier to this in which people in Congress have categorically lied to the American people since March and saying, oh, this is just for now. We will get to another thing for you right after this. I expect you to hear that crap again this week. And I hope you understand it's a lie. In March, they took out multiple stimulus checks you were owed. You were owed multiple stimulus checks for the month of April, May, because we knew the pandemic was going to be a 3-month pandemic, and they put in 3 stimulus checks, a stimulus check for every month that we were going to be on lockdown. But then when they were finished, they're like, no, we'll take it out. We will get to it afterwards. They did it. Then, what did they do with FPUC? It was set to expire while they're on the vacation in July. No worry, we will get to it later. They never got to it later. They went on vacation. It expired. They came back from vacation in July. That's when I was already starting to start recording these videos. I said, things had just expired. Why aren't you fixing it? We will get to it later. Okay, later is now October. It's 6 months later. One check is not going to cut it. So Mark Meadows said this check is going to be bigger under the Pelosi versus Mnuchin time frame. How much bigger? And what would be sufficient for Purple Power? What would be insufficient? Ultimately, if Purple Power sees a single $1,200 stimulus check in this deal to cover for 6 months, I got to tell you, you are never going to hear me louder than loud when I say that's a bunch of, I am going to be very vocal, and I hope you're very vocal in a way in which you don't get banned from social media, so don't use profanity. But if these nincompoops say that we're going to give $100 gazillion to Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo for their states, but we're going to give you one $1,200 check for this last 6 months, congratulations, I'm so happy. We have finally crushed the virus. We have finally gotten serious. We have finally entered a new phase. We finally have gotten to the end, the relief that we needed. No. Those are all fake sentences. We are really going to hit hard because ultimately what I want you to understand is, and this is what's so important, and this is why you stay with me, is that when this deal is potentially announced in the next 40 hours, it does not mean it's a law, does not mean you have to accept it, doesn't mean as you as the American citizen that vote on these elected officials, doesn't mean you have to roll over and say, thank you for determining my fate. I appreciate it. And my divine goddess and God, thank you for giving me a crappy check for 6 months. God bless you. No, you don't have to do that. You could say, I'm sorry, I don't like a crappy check. I'm voting you out. Thank you. See the door. That's how you can react to these people. Because ultimately, it's not yet law. And it won't be law because it will be sent to the Senate and House floors. And at that point, it should be butchered to death because it's not sufficient. Next, FPUC. What's going to happen with FPUC? Let me finish a few more things with the stimulus check. So how much should the stimulus check be? Well, I've seen some of your tweets. Everyone's going to have his own opinion. Here's my personal opinion. It's been 6 months since the pandemic has started. You are owed 6 stimulus checks. You are owed a check for April, May, June, July, August, September. Senator Harris's bill would give you a stimulus check of $2,000 every month for 6 months until the pandemic improved or until unemployment went down. Neither events have occurred. It's been 6 months. 6 months times 2 is $12,000. Will this group give all Americans $12,000? No, of course not. It's just, would they give you more than $1,200? Absolutely. So where is the number in between? I don't know. Could they give you $4,000? Oh yeah, they could give you $4,000. Could they give you $6,000? Maybe. I don't know. But to say that we demand 4,000 or 5,000 is not a reach. Let's understand that these people put a $10,000 grant in EIDL for all businesses during the first stimulus package. So if they think that $10,000 can be given to businesses, they can certainly give a lot more money to individuals. Next, FPUC. How about FPUC? Where is that going to land? What is Pelosi versus Mnuchin doing with FPUC? As you may have seen, as I tipped off in the earlier videos, Pelosi versus Mnuchin have really not said any disagreement on enhanced unemployment benefits in the last 24 hours. They did about 2 days ago. So by all accounts, there is now an agreement on FPUC, and it's likely to be at $600. I mean, do you think the Temple Doom got off her $600 a number and is lower? If it is lower, it could be at 500. But is it at 400? I don't think so. I don't think that he would have gotten her down. The president's throwing money and throwing money at Pelosi. So if he's throwing money, it probably went to $600 a week. But the deal times may be tighter. The number of weeks may be tighter. And ultimately, Nancy Pelosi keeps on using this word retroactively. She even said it on Andrea Mitchell today. And yeah, honey, it's retroactive to late July. It's not retroactive to September 5th. I mean, that's causing people to lose an entire month of FPUC. Moreover, if you're doing FPUC to late December, that's not going to cut it. If you're doing FPUC to mid-January, that's much better. That's what Steve Mnuchin's last offer was. That's what I'm more happy about. EIDL grants, have they fixed the language to ensure that you're getting a $10,000 EIDL grant? Don't know. EIDL loans, have they fixed the language to ensure you get the full EIDL loan, not a reduced amount that your visa doesn't want to spend a lot of money? I don't know. How about that CDC grant? Likely in there. How about hazard pay? What's going on with hazard pay? Is it going to be in there? I don't think so. I think they're going to throw you to the dogs and not give you hazard pay. It's really quite horrible. State and local. State and local may be set up in a way in which you will get hazard pay if you are fire, rescue, police, and things like that. But if you're Uber and Lyft, you're not going to get that money from state and local. Really a strange twist of events. And what I need you to understand is that as you look to the next 24 and 48 hours, I want you to understand that it's times like this that you really have to understand the process. You have to understand that Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin are going to announce some things, and that people are going to get very giddy and very excited and very conclusory, and it's nothing until it's a law. An agreement is not a law. The next step is to put it to a vote. It has to go to the Senate, it has to go to the House, it has to go to the President. And ultimately, it's at that point that it becomes Pelosi, Mnuchin versus Purple Power. Stay with me. We're at the 12-minute mark. I still have a lot more stuff coming up. The fact is that once the agreement is announced, you and I will look at it and we're like, you did what to us? I just sense it's going to happen like that. I just really do. And so at that point, I really think is when Purple Power is going to get very loud. Very loud, professional, but very loud, and say, you know what, honey? This ain't going to cut it. What is this horrible bill that you have in here that's only giving me 5 cents on the dollar when I've waited around for 6 months of relief? This is not anything. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they do give us a lot of money. And I have seen some of the comments from viewers that say some money is better than no money. But other viewers, on the other hand, say, this amount of money is not going to do anything for me. This amount of money is not even going to pay 1 month's rent. Nancy Pelosi's statement today is that she hopes you get November rent. That is where you sense false narratives are coming, because even her rent program would not go live in the next 2 weeks. So what would be the money for rent? And she's from San Francisco. You know how much rent is per week in San Francisco? It's not $1,200. Well, she know how much rent is per month in San Francisco. It's not $1,200. $1,200 is like, a shared room and a shared bedroom with a shared carpet. I mean, it's just $1,200 is nothing. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But this is why you stay with me. Let's go to some of your incredible comments and questions from yesterday. Joni, stick a fork in me. I'm done. Nancy K, feeling pretty hopeless over here in Spring Hill, Florida. Michelle, can we put all the politicians in Section 8 housing? Darlene, how could Pelosi vote on anything being a drunk and using our taxes to ride on an airplane twice a day? Lysandra, why don't they cancel the election and focus on the economy? Purple Power. Susan, such childish games. Dusty, of course there's going to be no deal done today. This is the same stuff that's been going on for months. Brian, why can't they put Pelosi in jail and put some of the money else in someone else in office? Patricia, we need something done by tomorrow. Executive orders. I get my stimulus check on voting day. Debbie, we need stimulus checks. People are being put on the street and becoming homeless. One check won't work. Jeremy Evans, Pelosi and Chucky both need to go. Michelle, I pray to something that will get done in the deal. Shalia, closer is not done. William, I like Purple Power all day long. Danielle, these negotiations are making me dizzy. Ben, Nancy and Steve must go. Stimulus has been held up since April. The next few days will make you dizzy. They'll make me dizzy. So follow my finger. Don't get dizzy and go to the Fuzz channel. Subscribe because we're going to get through this together. We're going to get to the end once as a family. And then when we see the deal, if it is hatched in the next 48 hours, then we'll figure out as a family how to react to it and how to ask for more. Also, like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with LA for more.